Virginia. And I yield now 5 minutes to our colleague from Oklahoma, Mr. Brecheen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate you setting this up. I appreciate committee staff. I think oversight's one of the things that Congress, state legislative bodies across the country so lack, and I appreciate any time we get a chance to do oversight. This is the real work. It's what our institutions of government in a true republic should look like. I think it's really interesting. I've been guilty of not accurately portraying how you're placed, Director, with the CBO. I mean, you are designed to be bipartisan. You're picked, by the Pro Tem of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, and then the Budget Committee, of course, with the Chairman and ranking member on both the House and Senate side. You're placed, and so this committee's opinion on your work plays into the chairmanship and ranking members' views, and it's such a good model to make sure that there's a bipartisanship that is so that we get to the truth, and wherever those facts lead us, that's pronounced. It's not leaning one way, whether it be Republican or Democrat. How do we, in addition to the way that you're selected, how do we make sure that within the 200 plus employees of CBO, how do we make sure that there's no ideological lean, that we go where the facts lead us, we pronounce that, and no one is trying to bring in things that would be designed to skew facts?
No, it's it's a key to the organization, and it's something I think about a lot. It's those people and processes. I'll talk, if I can, I'll talk briefly about those, right? We hire people who can do the work in a nonpartisan basis. I mean, someone who comes in as an advocate, as a partisan, would be very unhappy at CBO because our people are mission-oriented, and then our processes are set up basically to reject that approach, that we have the kind of review process within the agency that is fact-based and analysis-based and not advocacy-based.
And that's great. I'm a big believer that at the top of any, whether it be political or business, you give it 2 years with somebody in charge, and the culture underneath that person totally will change, and you'll see a difference there. Is there a cultural expectation under your leadership among even those second in command and third in command, that if you catch people operating on a partisan basis, say, look, on your own time, that's great, but here among the culture we have to operate for the integrity of this of what we're supposed to be doing, that's not acceptable. Is that culture cultivated?
Yeah, yes, it is, and I agree with you that that's my responsibility. It comes from the top. And we have a set of guidelines that our staff are not allowed to participate in partisan activities.
Okay. I wanted to shift to something that this committee, and I have the good pleasure of getting to hopefully see it advance, is modifying the, when a rule coming from a cubicle under the administration, I like to use that term because I think it shows so many people's opinion of decisions made from cubicle, where most of us really believe in Article 1, Section 1, that all legislative powers be vested in the Congress, not bureaucrats. But nonetheless, we find ourselves in a place where bureaucracy is able to pronounce rules. These come with a cost, and CBO provides a 50%, because you don't know if there'll be a CRA, Congressional Review Act, that might repeal that, or whether or not it's going to go into effect. And ultimately, it's either going to be underestimated or overestimated at the 50% mark. The measure that we'll be advancing is designed to that you within CBO will no longer pronounce a cost unless that rule is finalized. And then if it's proposed, that rule you would do an addendum that would say, if this thing is enacted, this is the cost. What are your thoughts on trying to clean up the inaccuracy of overestimating and underestimating with that change?
It's something that we've worked on with the Congress and the budget committees in the past. I am happy to revisit that because we want to provide you with the information that's useful to you. I'll just mention one more thing, which is there's some things that are just routine, important but routine. The subsidy rates for school lunches. There's a calculation. Department of Agriculture does it. We don't put that, when they put out the preliminary numbers, we take that at 100%. So things that are routine, I think we should just continue to do what we're doing. but just the major one, student loans was mentioned.
Because I've got 10 seconds, I want to ask you a quick
sorry.
question. You mentioned student loans. The Supreme Court twice has struck down the administration through an emergency order doing that. Yet that's been built in. There's been a cost. Can you quickly speak to how an executive order that's been struck down comes with hundreds of billion dollars of cost that we've seen realized? How is that possible in the system of government supposed to be adhering to the rule of law?
Now, it's a challenge for us because the administration will finalize a rule. OMB decides what's in the budget numbers, and we follow them. So they finalize the rule at the end of the fiscal year. They say, okay, this changes the deficit. We reflect that. Then the Supreme Court overturns it, and then it gets reversed. So it's they're following the procedures we're following, but it obscures the information that you have to look at. So I agree. It bedevils us, and if there's a way to improve what we do for you, I want to do it.
I yield, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.